And now, it's time for The Dating Doctor.
Prescribed by Dr. Carlos
And Physicians Assistant Steve Estrada.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to The Dating Doctor.
Welcome.
I am here today with our lovely, talented, and very highly educated Miss Della Lisi Kerr.
Oh, well, thank you. Hello,
And-
everybody.
And you have me, once again, running the show. Our illustrious Dr. Carlos is traveling the world again, doing very important things, I'm sure of
What?
it. I think he's in Las
Global
Vegas.
trotting.
I think
Oh,
he's in
really?
Las Vegas, and I'm sure he's getting some good business done. So I'm your host again today, our Physician's Assistant, Steve Estrada.
Yay,
Hello,
one and
hello,
only.
hello. So today we are going to be...
able to tell the difference between our voices this time.
Tell the difference between
Yeah,
our voices. Well, I'm the guy over here, and you're the lady over there.
Yeah, for
So
the most part.
hopefully that will be helpful.
Uh-huh.
So what I did is I spent the last week doing a lot of research, and I've been looking at what the other experts in the world of dating are advising people to do.
Wait, there are other experts
There
out there?
are other people besides
Other than
us.
the dating doctor.
I know. It's hard to believe.
that is hard
So
to
we're going to be getting into some new territory here for us, and I think it'll be a lot of fun.
Okay.
So I want to remind you guys that we're very excited because this is our season 3, and we are on episode 5.
We are not. Episode
I know, it
5.
seems
Yay.
unbelievable, but we are on episode 5. And I
Wow.
also I have a duly obligated piece in my contract to mention our T-shirts.
Oh, our T-shirts. Yay, I love our T-shirts.
mythological and very exciting T-shirts. So we want you guys to know that they are still available.
Oh, cool.
We have them in sizes up to 3X.
3X.
So if you want to get 2 people in one shirt or one big person in one shirt, we
Or-
can accommodate you.
Use it as sheets on your bed.
Sheets on your bed. Okay.
Sleep on the dating doctor.
So the shirts are they're not on back order right now because we have a good stock.
Oh.
So I think we need to do something about encouraging the continuing sales effort that we want to promote and support. So
Bet we've got
I want to mention a couple of pieces of business. You are listening to The Dating Doctor on KCAA 1050 AM, 102.3 and 106.5 FM in the Inland Empire. And today the show is brought to you by meetingsinglesnow.com, where we bring you the best events to meet quality singles.
Quality
And we will be having an event coming up soon.
Oh, excellent.
I know
I'm
that
looking
we
forward
will.
to it.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun.
Yay. I do want to give a quick shout out to you and Austin. Last week when I listened in, I couldn't be here in the studio, but I listened in on KCAA 1050 AM and was enthralled by you and Austin and the great work you were doing. I learned so much.
Wow.
You folks were discussing questions about dating questions.
We were.
And I learned a considerable amount from the two of you. So
Considerable, and you were enthralled. Boy, those are big words. That's why we have our Miss Della Lisi Kerr here with the educated stuff.
thank you. The educated stuff.
All right, so let's get this show on the road.
Let's
what do you
that.
say?
I think so.
So the first bit of information that we're going to be looking at is titled "The 17 Worst Things a Man Can Say to a Woman."
Oh no, seriously?
We got 17 of these.
17 of
and
them.
this is something put together by Ms. Deanna Brooke. And I've been reading some of her material, and it's pretty interesting stuff. So we're going to go through some of these items that she is calling worst things a man can say to a woman. So
I can't wait to hear
we're gonna
these.
share a few of these, and then
Okay.
we're gonna have a nice male-female conversation.
Let's do that.
So the first one is the saying, when a man says to a woman, "You're not like the other girls."
Oh,
You're not like the other girls.
now who would say that?
I don't know.
Oh, who does Diana Burke suggest that people say
She is not blaming anyone. She is not blaming anyone. But I can tell you that in my history, I have said something like this.
you have not.
And I'm.
what kind of a reaction have you gotten from the ladies?
I don't know. I don't remember.
You
It's
don't
been a while
remember.
since I used a line like that. But I'm going to give you my perspective on this because I'm going to think about how I used it in the past. But what do you think when you hear this this bit of info?
I would say he's absolutely right because I'm not like any other girl. And then I turn on my pretty little heel and leave.
Oh,
Oh,
why would you
absolute-
do that?
Because it is a definitive, it's very obvious that he spends a lot of time with a lot of other women. And if I'm looking for a principle-centered gentleman, which is exactly what I'm looking for, I'm not looking for a player. That's what that sentence says to me.
You're not like the other girls. Says he's a player.
It says he's a
A
player.
lot of women in his life.
Lots of them.
Okay.
I don't think whoever said that was thinking in terms of me being like his sister or his mother or his grandmother or his daughter.
You don't,
I would
huh?
imagine that he's referring to other women he's romantically involved with.
Okay,
So
okay.
do tell me what has been your experience with a statement like that?
Yeah, I think that one of the ways that I would connect with a female is I would try to create an idea that she was unique,
Oh,
and I would work this in a way that I would focus on the things about her that I found unique. I don't know if I'd go to the extent of comparing her to other women because that's what this statement is saying.
exactly.
And a guy will assume that he's flattering a woman when he says this, but he's not the woman and he's not a woman. So I think that he's making a big mistake here, and our author Deanna agrees. She does not. She does not think this is a good idea. So what I'm gonna suggest is the idea of speaking to someone in comparison to other women is a bad idea.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
But a better take would be just recognize the things about that woman that you enjoy, that you find special, and not in a comparative way.
Absolutely.
Just, hey,
Steve, I think you're spot on with that because I'm sure that whoever made that statement was really trying to connect with that woman and trying to let her know that he finds her above and beyond the others. But stating it like that doesn't do him any justice. So I think we both agree that he's trying to be complimentary, but he needs to rephrase.
He needs to rework that, rephrase.
Yep.
Okay, so I think that for that first one, we're going to say you want to rework that and understand what a lady may be hearing when you say it that way. Fair enough?
Exactly.
Okay. So, guys, don't say, you're not like the other girls.
No, let's not say that.
Say something else. All right, so
You said it, actually, going back a second. You said it perfectly when you made this statement the first time. You said, you are unique. And I would love to hear that from a man because that would launch us into really deep conversations. Oh, what about me do you find unique? Well, your thoughts about politics, your compassion, your interest in all these different projects you have going. It would launch conversations. So you said it perfectly.
all right, well, I am the physician's assistant, Steve Estrada, and I have said it perfectly.
You did
Well,
indeed.
let's see if we can do that a couple more times during the show. All right, guys, so moving on here. Now, here's one that that I find a little odd because I would never say this.
Okay.
But this is, well, it goes like this. Hey, girl, I'm a feminist. Hey, girl, I'm a feminist. Now, remember, these are the 17 worst things a man can say to a woman. So I think that what's going on here is this guy is, what's the word that I'm thinking of? He is...
He's trying to connect.
He's trying to connect. Okay.
But
what do you think about this one, Della? Because I'm confused.
I think he's trying to grasp at straws to find something to connect with this woman, and that he believes that all women are feminist in their viewpoints. All women, I believe, might be feminist in their viewpoints, but that's not a way to connect. Not as I see it. I can't even imagine a man coming up to me and saying a line like that.
Well, I wouldn't say that because I wouldn't even think of saying it, but I think that he is patronizing her potentially.
Oh, that's interesting.
And that was the word I was trying to remember. Patronizing.
Patronizing.
And that's another big word. I came up with that one. How
All
about
by
that?
yourself.
Wow. But don't ask me to spell it. But yeah, I think that today in our modern times, I think women want to know that we're not cavemen about the male-female dynamic. And so, if you want to attempt to do that, I think, again, you don't necessarily say these things. You just do and act a certain way so that a lady can recognize, oh, this guy is, he's enlightened. He's a modern guy.
I would agree with that.
That's what I'm thinking on this one.
I would agree with that. I think, too, what your comment about patronizing a woman by calling her a feminist, or saying that he is a feminist or believes in that sort of thing, is a desperate attempt to get next to her, to find some kind of common ground. And
that's the way he's thinking of doing it? Boy, I don't know. I don't think that's a good plan right there.
No, I don't think so either. But I agree with you. I think he's looking for her to suggest that he's enlightened or with it and in her realm. And there are so many other ways he can say that. Yeah,
I think that actions always speak louder than words. And he can certainly show a better approach to this. So you have said for 2 in a row that I'm spot on, that I've got this right. Wow. That's your physician's assistant. Again, I'm 2 for 2.
2 for 2.
Wow, this is going real well for me. So let's go to the next one. And this is a short one. But again, these are the 17 worst things that a man can say to a woman. And the next one is, you say to a woman, smile. I don't know. I actually have had an experience with this one.
You have?
Yes, and boy, I'll tell you, it was weird because I had a lesson handed to me.
Did you?
I had a lesson handed to me.
Along with her hand on your cheek?
No, she didn't do that. But Della, go ahead. I mean, if you're always smiling, so this is probably, you don't even hear this one.
No,
I would assume, because
I haven't heard this one.
For those of you that don't know, our Miss Lacey Kerr has a perpetual smile on her face. She's a very happy camper.
Yes, I'm very, very happy.
So I don't think someone would have to go out of their way to say smile to her. Maybe she's not someone we should ask this question to.
Actually, I don't have an answer for this one. I think if someone were to come up to me and say, smile, I would be expecting them to take a photo. I would think that they would have a camera in their hand or something. Smile. But just because maybe I'm concentrating and they're trying to break me from that concentration and get a little bit of input and maybe some conversation going, and so they think that a line to get me out of my concentration would be to say, smile.
I'll tell you what our author says. She says, women are not here to boost your ego or make your day. And if you want me to smile, then do something worthy of a smile.
Oh, Diana,
so
I
tell
love
a
that.
joke or say something that would just make someone smile. Say something kind or say something, genuine or sweet along those lines, right? Because it's not hard to get a woman to smile if she's, interested in you even just a little bit, right? So,
I would agree
but
with
I'll share my experience. I had someone who was working for our company for a short period of time, and she never smiled.
You mean here at the Dating
here
Doctor?
here at our company, yeah, our parent company, and I was trying to help her. I was trying to coach her up and advise her, and I said, you look angry all the time.
Oh.
I said, you have a great smile because I've seen your smile, but I don't really see you using it in terms of the work that we're doing and the training that we're going through. And she says, people have been telling me that all my life. And so I thought to myself, well, maybe it's not up to me to tell her to smile. Maybe I need to do a better job of working on helping her to be happy or see something positive in the exchange. So I don't think that I'm going to say to too many women, smile. I think if I'm
a directive.
Yeah, I think if I'm interested in someone, I've always thought to myself, if I'm going to engage with a woman, I should be able to get her to smile. And by my actions and my behavior, and hopefully I have a good enough game here that she'll be smiling. And if she's not smiling, I'm going to think, well, either she really doesn't like me or I'm not on today or tonight. Maybe, that approach.
Knowing you as little as I do, just from our work here on the Dating Doctor, you do have game.
I do have game. Excuse me, pause right there. I do have game. That's me, your physician's assistant, Steve Estrada. Okay, back to how I have game, Ms. Delalisi Kerr.
You do have game, and I think you could put a smile on any woman's face.
Oh my! Wow!
The directive that this person was giving by saying smile is exactly what Diana Burke was suggesting, that he is asking her to make his day. Brooke. Oh, so sorry. Brooke is her last name. Diana Burke.
Brooke.
So, Diana, if you're out there and you're listening, which I'm sure you are, I apologize for massacring your name. But I think that was the person's intention. So, these are absolutely priceless, Diana. And I can't wait to go on to the next one.
We've got a couple more of these to share, guys. So, look, we're coming up to the end of our first segment. And what we'll do is we'll get into more of these on the other side of the break. But I want to remind you guys, you're listening to The Dating Doctor on KCAA 1050 AM, 102.3 and 106.5 FM in the Inland Empire. We will see you on the other side of the break.
See you soon.
All right, we're back for segment number 2. And I want to remind you guys that you're listening to The Dating Doctor on KCAA 1050 AM, 102.3 and 106.5 FM in the Inland Empire. And today our show is also brought to you by Elevate Health, hyperbaric oxygen therapy. This is the latest innovation in the pursuit of optimal health. You can check us out at elevatehealth.com. And Elevate is spelled E-L-E-V as in Victor, E. There's 3 E's in that word.
Wow.
All right. And we also have a phone number that you can reach out to us if you want to learn more about this. That number is 888-537-7087. That's 888-537-7087. So getting back to our project at hand here, we are going to flip the script, and our Ms. Lisi Kerr is going to pick out some choice sayings that are part of the 17 worst things a man could say to a woman. So Ms. Lisi Kerr, what do you have for us to start off?
Well, Diana Burke came up with some really spectacular ones here.
Okay.
This is one I have heard from time to time. Actually, I hear this all the time.
Oh.
I didn't know you were smart.
You've heard that one?
I've heard that one.
Oh my!
I've heard that from time to time.
All right. Well, wow. I bet you have some thoughts on that.
Well, I would like to hear what a gentleman was thinking by saying something like that.
Well, supposedly I'm a gentleman.
Yes,
I think that
you
was
are indeed.
I think that was the reference or suggestion. So I'm going to take that and call it a compliment.
It's a compliment. Where do you find the compliment in there?
I
Exactly?
don't know. It's somewhere. Yeah, I'm a gentleman, you said.
Yeah.
Or
And being a gentleman, I can't imagine you would say something
Yeah.
like that, because
Yeah.
very obviously a woman can be physically attractive and have plenty of intellectual prowess.
have a brain too.
The thing that I found interesting by Diana Bruck here is that she said, I first heard this from a man whom I had been dating for 6 months when I got accepted to Oxford. This is a brilliant woman.
You might be pretty smart there.
And she was living with this gentleman, and I'll use the term loosely. So your thought on
Well,
I didn't know you were smart?
Yeah, I think that I wouldn't say that to anyone that I was interested in a platonic way or in a romantic way, because I know enough to know that I've known too many great women in my life, from my mother to my grandmothers to my aunties.
Aw.
To people I grew up with, and on and on and on. I mean, some of the smartest, most accomplished people I know are women. And, I've been around too long to know that how someone looks and a connection to brains or smarts, they have really nothing to do with each other. You could have both in one person, of course, but that statement shows that someone is really not paying attention and doesn't know someone very well.
Well-
And in the author's notes there, she says this fellow she had known for 6 months.
6 months. She was
And
living
she's
with him. For
living
6
with him, and then she says she's going off to Oxford. For those of you that don't know, that's a very prestigious house of education in England.
It is
And
indeed.
you just don't get to go to Oxford. You've got to be super smart, I would say, is a safe,
Top of your class.
statement. So I would never say that to a woman, and I think that's a condescending remark.
I
Yeah.
concur. I concur.
You Delacur. Oh, wait a minute. Do we have a new phrase that we're going to use on the Dating Doctor? Delacur.
That means that Della agrees. I concur
Delacur.
with
Okay,
that.
I like that.
Exactly, because a woman can be intelligent and beautiful. No one would say that to you, Stephen, and you are very handsome.
Whoa.
And you're very intelligent. So
Wow.
I can't imagine a woman saying, wow, I didn't know you were smart, to you. I can't even fathom that, because you are you're so focused and disciplined and industrious and handsome. So therefore, could you imagine you getting a compliment
I
like
think
that?
this is almost at the level of being a sexist.
It's extremely sexist.
Yeah, because the assumption is, he had to discover she was smart after knowing her, and then, I'm assuming he found her attractive. They were together for 6 months, so all of a sudden her brain was revealed, which seems kind of lame.
Kind of lame.
Yeah, so guys, don't say that one.
Well, how about this one?
We got another one. Okay.
Gentlemen, have
Yes.
you ever said to a woman, my exes are all crazy?
Oh, my exes are all crazy. Wow. Well, that's a loaded statement, because the first thing that I think of, should I share what I think now, because this one really rings loud for me.
You have lots of crazy exes, do you?
Well, I've had a few.
Oh, no.
I've had a few, but when I hear someone saying this, a guy saying this, or a woman, to be honest with you, but we're talking about what the dumb things guys say, what that means is he is announcing to the woman that he is interested in or conversing with that he only spends time with crazy people. And so we judge a book by not only its cover, prematurely, but also by the company we keep. So if this person says out loud and admits that everybody that he's been involved with, enough to label them an ex, meaning you spent some significant time, and they're all crazy, that shines a negative light on him. He attracts crazy people.
Well, I don't think he's moving in his circle of influence. He's in his circle of concern, obviously looking for something that is not substantive in these women. He's obviously looking maybe at looks, maybe at their cooking prowess. I can imagine a man sticking
Cooking
around
prowess?
with a woman
Okay.
who can cook really well, but she might not have much of anything else going on. But the point is that this guy is obviously very shallow if all of the women that he's involved himself with are, quote, crazy. When I hear that, first of all, gentlemen,
Gentlemen, we're talking to you.
gentlemen, I'm here to help. We women do not want to be compared to other women, even if you're saying that we are better than those other women. We don't want to hear this. I don't want to hear you put another woman down, because at some point you might put me down. So please, we are all sisters, we women, and so don't put us down in front of one another. Also, when I hear this, I can't help but wonder what made those women, because they're exes, and like you said, they must have spent a good amount of time with him. So I can't help but think, what made them crazy? Did it mean that he cheats a lot? He runs around a lot?
Now
And once he gets caught, then they become crazy.
This is what my next thought is, and you're leading to it now. I think that when he makes this statement, he is almost abdicating all responsibility for the things that have gone wrong in his relationships, because the exes were the ones with the problem. They're crazy people, the way he describes them. So he's almost saying, in a very silly way, because if you think about what he's saying as a woman, you're going to pick up pretty quick. No, all of your exes couldn't have been crazy. You might have had some issues too that contributed to the end of the relationship. So he might be, like you said, circle of influence versus circle of concern. This guy lives in his circle of concern, and he is not very concerned about what he has an impact on, which is the things he can influence when we talk about the circle of influence versus a circle of concern.
Absolutely.
I think this is a guy is just saying, hey, everybody else, it's their problem. I don't need to be held accountable.
Exactly.
Big
but
red
with
flag.
All his exes, so that means women that come from everywhere, the common denominator is him. He is the lowest common denominator. So
I think we are concurring or delicurring, as we've discovered our new term. This is something, guys, you should not say.
let's not say that, gentlemen. The next one that I found really interesting in The 17 Worst Things a Man Can Say to a Woman by Diana Brooke is, now I have a tendency to shed a tear every now and again. And I've heard this one before. Oh, don't be such a girl.
Oh, don't be such a girl. What's the alternative?
Oh, don't have any feeling, no empathy.
Well, you won't say don't be such a boy, right?
Don't be such a boy.
But that sounds, that's a condescending one too, right?
Condescending one.
Because it's a woman. We're not talking about kids here. This is a grown-up show, right? We're talking about adults. Yeah, I don't think that's not a good one.
Well, explain this to me, Physicians Assistant Steve Estrada.
Yep, that's me.
What if it were coming out of your mouth, which it never would, but if it were coming out of your mouth, don't be such a girl, what would incite you to say that?
Well, I know what's going on here. I mean, I understand that men have a challenge with the difference between males and females. It's the constant struggle. It's, an age-old problem. We're different.
Oh, is
Newsflash, there are some differences between men and women. Doesn't mean women aren't as capable as men and vice versa, but we do have differences. So when a fellow says something like this, he is being condescending, and he's also maybe struggling with a lady being female. You know, and if you have a situation where a woman is maybe, you know, crying at a movie and you're like, what the heck's wrong with you? You know, I wouldn't spend too much time trying to figure it out. Just recognize that she's going through a moment and you're not. And there's just a difference happening. It's not a judgment or anything, right?
Oh, Steve, you are so
I
kind.
am the Physician's Assistant Steve Estrada.
I think that's spot on.
But I think that would be a really silly thing to say to a woman for so many reasons. But that would be the first thing to mind, is that we're different, you know. What? So I'm just gonna say that's not a good thing to say.
I would agree,
and it's condescending too.
Very condescending.
Yeah.
But it also shows, from a woman's perspective, his insecurity. I can understand how uncomfortable a woman may be crying or maybe pouting, or for whatever reason he made that comment, would be uncomfortable for a guy. So I can understand his insecurity, but this isn't the way to say it.
No, and you got to be understanding in the moment. I mean, if somebody becomes emotional, whether it's a guy or a lady, we all have emotions.
Which is another point for all of you ladies out there. Men do have emotions. We all have a part of our brain, men and women, called the amygdala. And that's where our memories and emotions come from. And theirs is no different than ours. It's just they have been conditioned to not cry. So I know several of us women out there are a little uncomfortable when a guy starts to cry, but enjoy the moment, I would say. And you said the same thing. Just let it go. Leave it alone for a second.
All right. Della is bringing the science. The amygdala. The amygdala. That's part of your brain?
It's part of your
Part
brain.
of your brain. It's inside your head. That's where the brain is. Way deep down inside. So, guys, this line, and using the word girl, or don't be a girl. What's the line again?
Don't be such a girl.
Don't be such a girl. Let's not say that. Let's skip that one.
Yeah, let's skip that.
So moving on. What else do we have here?
Well, here's a great one for you.
All right, we've got a good one coming.
Steve Estrada,
the Physician's Assistant.
Physician's Assistant and Fitness Coach.
Fitness coach.
Okay, here we go. You ready?
I am.
You don't need to go to the gym. You're already hot.
Oh, ooh, wow, that's a good one. You're already hot. I don't know about that one.
Oh,
we are big in fitness here. I mean, we talk about Elevate Health all the time as part of our company and the things that we do. Fitness and health matter. So, but let's put that aside for a second. What is this? Say it again to me. Let's one more time.
now listen to the way this fictitious man says this. You ready? Here we go. You don't need to go to the gym. You're already hot.
Wow, the way you say it, I don't think guys talk like that, but okay. That's kind of made me awkward there.
Well, are you a little uncomfortable there, Steve?
Oh, just a little.
First of all, you hit the nail on the head when you said that here we are, elevate health. Health is important around here. But that's not what this statement means.
No.
This statement has nothing to do with health. It has everything to do with sexuality. It's the way she looks. But I know that I work out, I go to the gym, I like to be physically active for a healthy reason. I like it makes me feel good. It has nothing to do with my body or my sexuality. And that's why I find this particular statement rather rude.
Yeah, I think that this guy is talking about how important looks are to him. And we know in the Dating Doctor, we know that looks matter. There's no argument there. But there is so much more to the equation than how someone looks. And we know there's a lot of people out there that base their interactions with the opposite sex on the looks. I mean, it's almost like, you will look one time and you will judge all your decision based on what you saw. And how silly is that? You have no idea what the person's about, what they're like, what their dreams are, what their ambitions are, what they've done, what they haven't done. So I think that statement is wrong for a lot of reasons, but I think it really emphasizes how weak a strategy it is to make looks be so heavily weighed. They do matter. We're not going to argue that point, but there are 10 other things on that list that you need to get to know somebody and have a conversation with them before you decide you don't like the color of their hair or the shape of their figure or. So we don't want to use that one, guys, and we certainly don't want to say it the way Miss Della Lisi Kerr said it. She said
that's the way it's written.
Well, yeah, that's how I wouldn't have said it that way. But hey, you're sharing your end of the story here.
Diana, the author of this article, says to the gentleman, please don't assume everything women do in life stems from an effort to make ourselves look sexually attractive to you. And I think that's the takeaway here.
Yeah, I think that we're in agreement with this one, and we're gonna take that one and put it in the bank account of don't use. Don't use unless there's a fire and you're trying to scare people away so they don't get into the fire. I don't know if that made any sense, but anyway. So guys, we are just about done with segment number 2. So we're going to catch you on the other side of this break. Thank you very much for listening. All right, we are back for segment number 3. And we are going to continue on our theme of the 17 worst things that a man can say to a woman.
Oh my goodness.
And Miss Della Lisi Kerr, you will continue having your hands on the reins here. What is the next ridiculous thing that a man could say?
Diana Bruck suggests that the 17 worst things a man can say to a woman include, are you ready? Girls shouldn't cuss.
Girls shouldn't cuss.
That's what it says right
goodness
here.
gracious. Wow, this is going to be revealing for me. But you want me to take this to first here?
Yeah.
Go with this?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, I know some ladies, and some of them don't use foul language at all. And it's pretty rare to hear them say a cuss word, right? And I may be weird here a little bit, but I kind of like it when I hear a woman say a cuss word.
Oh, really?
From time to time. Yeah, I know that I've experienced, if I've really upset someone, and I'm being a knucklehead. In my past, I don't do this so
Not
much
now.
anymore. No, now I'm terrific. Principle-centered,
Principle-centered.
et cetera, right? But I think it's a great way to vent using a little bit of foul language. But I know that we certainly don't want to promote that on our show. But I know that when a guy says this to a woman, there's some other things going on there. Give me the line. Give me the line again, there,
That's
Ms.
very
Lisi Kerr.
interesting. Girls shouldn't cuss.
Yeah, girls shouldn't cuss. So this is again the in the area of being a sexist. Because we're equal in a lot of ways, in many ways, and one of the things is what we're free to do in terms of expressing ourselves. If guys can cuss, what does that mean? Girls can't cuss?
Exactly.
Or if girls can cry, what guys can't cry? I think we have these stereotypical views that, although there may be stereotypical because we find more commonality with maybe men cussing than women cussing, but I know when ladies get together, they cuss a lot. You should hear my sisters. I have 3 sisters.
You have 3 sisters.
Yeah, and they're
naughty language.
I hear them cuss, and I'm like, that's no big deal, right? So I'm going to say here that this is a sexist thing to say about the women and about the ladies, and I think that casting judgment based on a woman cussing is not a good way to measure the value of a lady, despite the fact that I enjoy hearing a lady use salty language from time to time. I don't know why. I think it's kind of cool. I'm not advising it. Kids listening out there, do we have any kids listening to the Dating Doctor?
I'm sure.
We might.
Sure. In the car.
So yeah, I think this is a condescending thing. I think it's a sexist thing. And I don't think that way. I don't.
Well, we just found out that you kind of enjoy a little salty talk.
It's a little salty conversation. I don't know. Maybe I'm weird.
Well, I see it that way too, because what does that say? Girls shouldn't cuss, but men are allowed to cuss. I think part of the principle-centered life would include respect.
Yeah.
And just plain old
Principle-centered respect. Yeah.
And being polite. One wouldn't use salty language.
No.
Like flavoring. You don't put it on every conversation. And like my mother used to say, I know your vocabulary is bigger than that. Find a different word. You don't need to use that word. So I agree with you. I think this is a sexist statement. And I think it allows the man that says this to exonerate himself, and he's allowed to cuss, which isn't appealing either. Let's show some respect.
That's not attractive.
No, it's not attractive.
No.
But I see the point in using some salty language every now and again as well. So there you go.
Yeah, so we're not fans of that one.
Not
there.
fans of that one.
No.
Here's one that's great fun. You'll
Great
enjoy.
fun. We like great fun on the Dating Doctor. Oh yes, fun.
I think this is one Steve can really appreciate. Here we go. I love it when a girl eats.
I love it when a girl eats.
I love it when a girl eats.
Well, he's a big fan of nutrition or something. Is that what we got here?
Perhaps, or maybe he owns a grocery store.
Grocery store?
Perhaps.
Maybe he owns a grocery store. He might even own a restaurant. I don't know what we're talking about here. But, let me just comment on this. One of the things that our Dr. Carlos likes to comment on is when you're out with a woman and you're in the range of those first few dates, and you go to a nice restaurant, maybe a rib joint, and instead of the woman just picking up those ribs and chomping away, she's got a fork and a knife out and she's trying to cut those ribs. She's not picking them up and eating them like all the rest of us eat them. So we know that representing yourself as it relates to food is, I think, I guess as long as you have good manners, whatever those are. I think we all have different standards, but good manners are important for all of us. But when a guy says this about a woman, I think he's again getting into that area of looks and appearance. And if this was he's measuring it, and this is what I think guys do. I don't know, you might not even be aware of this, Ms. Lisi Kerr. But I think if you're there with a woman who is has a nice figure, she's slender, let's say, you would feel comfortable saying that to her because you're trying to compliment her in your backwards way. But if she was a woman that was not slender or did not have the greatest figure, you wouldn't think of saying that to her. You wouldn't do that. And so I think what I'm trying to share with the ladies right now is that a guy is weighing what you look like very, very heavily when he says and makes a statement like that. Because if we go out to a restaurant and you're with a lady who you like and you're hopefully trying to make a good impression upon, you want her to enjoy the meal that you guys are sharing. And her looks, whether they're like a model or just an average person, that should not be something you're thinking about. Enjoy the meal. Don't say anything silly like that, because if a lady's paying attention, I think she's going to read into it what you're kind of thinking about, and maybe be revealing about you in a not flattering way. That's my take on it.
That's an interesting take. I don't take that sentence that way. If a man says to me, first of all, I like to eat. I enjoy a good steak. I like really great seafood. So take me to a restaurant. You will see me eat and eat a lot. And perhaps that's not such a good thing considering my hips, but the point is,
Your hips are fine.
you laughed. But when I hear that, I think that a man is trying to be progressive. Progressive. I think he's, again, this is another one of those, I'm trying to relate, but this is not relatable. Making a comment about, ooh, isn't the Chateaubriand spectacular, would go a lot farther in connecting with me than to suggest that all women eat nothing but salads and then only one sliver of a piece of that lettuce, and that's about it. We enjoy food too, so let's talk about the food rather than trying to relate on something that misses the mark entirely, which is what I think this sentence would say to me.
Yeah, I don't think that, I think there's an attempt at trying to say something flattering or complimentary, but if the ladies are paying attention, and I think they are paying attention.
Oh yeah, we're
let's
paying attention.
assume that that's what's going on. That doesn't come across well. And you want to talk about food as, how you're enjoying it or appreciating it or sharing it. Yeah.
What do you think of this particular item?
And I don't think we should say that, guys. And that's our advice on the Dating Doctor.
That is our advice. Diana mentions here a little further on that another annoying statement that a man makes along that same line when he sees a woman eating a salad is, "Oh, come on, get a burger, live a little."
Live a little. You deserve a burger.
I love my salads. I love burgers, but it's
live
my
a
choice.
little.
Live a little. Okay.
Live a little. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I can live a little.
Yeah, when I have a burger, I love when people say to me, "Enjoy that burger. You're living a little." I don't know about that. I'm just eating a burger.
Wow.
I think a woman has the same experience. She's just having a nice burger.
It's a nice burger.
Okay.
Alrighty, you ready for another one? This is the best one.
The best one. Wow.
I love this. How are you still single?
How are you still single? I think one of the themes that I'm witnessing here is that we have to realize guys don't really know how to flatter and compliment a woman, or they need to work on it more. I think that's what I'm hearing this. How are you still single? I think that's a compliment, or it's an attempt at a compliment. But I think it's also suggesting, maybe there's something wrong with you, and it's a passive aggressive statement is what I'm thinking right now. Well, how are you still single? Meaning, why are you single?
Exactly.
What's wrong with you? And it's like, that's what the woman's hearing when a guy says that. I think it's an attempt at a compliment, but it's dopey. It's dopey.
You see this from the woman's perspective.
I think so.
Yes, this is interesting. Because when a man says to me, "How are you single?" Still single, I am hearing, "Why are you still single?" And my answer to that would be, because I'm picky.
Or you choose to.
I am picky. I choose to. And I can afford to be.
I can afford to be. I get that. You don't need that guy.
I don't need him.
I think that ladies can be single just like guys can be single by choice. And as I'm an older person now, I run into a lot of accomplished women. I mean, these are ladies that have educations behind them. They have careers behind them. Just like you are very attractive, intelligent, highly educated, Miss Della Lisi Kerr. I like to repeat that a lot.
Yes,
I don't know why, but I do like to say that.
Thank you.
And so I think guys can be single, the ladies can be single, and asking that question, guys, if you're attempting to make a compliment, it's kind of silly. So, Della, we're just about at the end of our third segment here.
Wow.
So, guys, we're going to look forward to talking to you again next week. Please enjoy your week, and thank you for listening again.
Have a wonderful week. Thank you.
Bye now.